And here's Michael Segal of Netscout with Denny and Drew.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are doing another episode of LMTV Interop. Interop is less than a week away. Actually, many of our friends is already on our way there, getting network up and running. The workshop and the classes actually start on Monday, and then the conference, the convention will start on Tuesday. So we're inviting a bunch of friends, and today we invited Michael Segal from Netscout. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning. Pleasure to be here.
Michael and I actually, you can see from the sun outside his window and the lack of snow, you can tell that he's in the West Coast now. So let me quickly before I have a conversation. We have a conversation, Michael. Let me quickly turn to my co-host today, Andrew Conway Murray. Good morning, Andrew.
Hi, Denny. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. So you got a lot of work to do next week.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a very full week. We got a lot going on, but we're really excited to have the show finally here.
So remind our audience, there might be one or two guys out there who doesn't know about Interop. So let's just very quickly explain Interop and if people still want to go, how do they do that?
Sure. Interop is the world's largest independent IT conference. We bring together lots of IT vendors from across the spectrum, networking, cloud, etc. We've got educational classes. We've got an expo floor with hundreds of exhibitors. It's a great opportunity to come in and get some education and meet some folks. And if you're interested in signing up, just go to interop.com and you'll find the registration button. You can still get a free expo pass if you sign up this week.
Yeah, so it is free. That's absolutely true. The expo is free. And although it's not advertised on the interop.com website, lots of drinks are free too.
There are free drinks, yes. With the Expo Pass, you get some free drinks.
It's hard to miss. So, and then good afternoon, Tim.
Hello, everybody. Great to hear everybody, and I wish I could be at Interop this year. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be some great new dimensions of technology deployed there and shown away.
Yeah, we feel like two guys, the dumb and dumber. We don't get to go anywhere, huh? We just sit in front of a monitor, and all our friends are all over the world. So very quickly, Michael, you Netscout, of course, will be at Interop, and you'll be there as well. And I understand that, and Netscout is a big company and it has lots of different solutions for customers, for the community. And I understand that you're responsible for one part of that, which is service assurance, right?
Yeah, so Netscout is all about service assurance. We actually most recently at our annual user conference launched the new brand, and also the Guardians Guild of the Connected World is part of this brand, and I want to share with you a little bit information about this.
Okay. And so you have some slides prepared for us, so we'll let you do that. But I'm just curious. Look, I went to college, and lots of my friends are fraternity brothers, so I know all my Greek letters. But somehow you have an O there that doesn't look like O, right? What does that mean? I'm just curious.
Yeah. So maybe when I share the slide, people will see.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay, let's do that. Just don't tell me that stands for the artist formerly known as Prince, so that won't go with us.
Can you see the slide?
Yes. Yeah. What does that mean? Yeah. What does that O mean?
Yeah. So the O is basically an inverse sigma, and sigma stands for standard deviation, and the message here is that we basically eliminate the standard deviation of the service assurance and make it very precise.
Wow. Okay.
So wanted to share with you some exciting news regarding the new brand name and the Guardians of the Connected World. I think we all know that since the dawn of man, humans were defined by the need to communicate and connect with each other. So telling stories around fire, cave paintings, then moving on to using drums and smoke signals to the written word, the press, the mail, Pony Express, telegraph, radio, television, and now the internet. From the speed of force to the speed of light, we all dependent on this connected world. And with that in mind, Netscout is very excited to announce that we establish a Guardians Guild, who is a community of professionals, thought leaders, and influencers who are committed to develop, secure, and assure flawless operation of this connected world. And come see us at Interop or send me an email at michael.segal@netscout.com for more information.
Okay.
And while Michael's changing the slide, I was going to mention that Netscout has been at, I think, every show, Interop show, as far back as I know. So it goes back a few days.
Yeah, Netscout's been a great partner of Interop, and we're happy to have them back for 2015.
Thank you. So with that in mind, what I would like to talk to you about are three main things in terms of the end-to-end service assurance. I want to talk about the implications and the impact of having the wrong strategy for service assurance on enterprises today. Number two, I would like to review with you the key attributes that actually define the difference between what makes service assurance strategy solid versus lacking. And number three, I want to share with you Netscout solutions that can assure a very strong service assurance posture within your organization. So let's first take a look at number one. What are the implications? So in order to understand better the implications of service assurance on enterprises today, we commissioned Forrester to do a survey of large enterprises in North America, and they discovered three main things in this survey which are very, very interesting. Number one is that service triage, which is basically identifying the root cause, is the number one problem or challenge that IT organizations are facing today. Number two is that there is an extended time to repair the problem, with many of the enterprises claiming that it takes 90% of their IT issues more than 24 hours to resolve. And the third one, just looking at the large enterprise spend or excessive cost associated with this service assurance of $11 million, and this is just the operational cost. We are not including here any impact on customer satisfaction, lost revenue by not being able to book customer business, etc. So the impact is very, very significant. And the question is why? Why is it so challenging to identify the root cause of the problem? So if we look at service delivery, right, it's all about services that are consumed by users. On the left-hand side, you see users consume voice, video, and data services, and everything else is basically the service delivery infrastructure. You see that it's very complex. It can be physical, it can be virtual, it's geographically dispersed, it has network, it has servers, it has applications, really databases, storage. It's comprised of multiple elements, and in order to deliver one service, all of them need to operate in concert. And any interdependency between them, if it breaks, then not only that the entire service starts degrading and eventually goes down, but also it's very difficult to identify exactly where this interdependency causing service degradation. Going back to the Forrester study, the interesting thing that they realized is that 73% of enterprises have more than 10 monitoring tools. And it seems to be good, right? The more tools you have, the better visibility you would have into exactly where the root cause is. And it turns out the opposite is the true. Actually, multiple monitoring tools have limited visibility. The reason why is that each of these tools have a certain domain over which they have visibility, right? If we talk about network performance management tools, look at the network or specific segments of the network. If you look at application performance management tools, they look from application perspective, bytecode instrumentation, agents within the application. If we do some kind of correlation engine running on a log that is aggregated from multiple tools and data sets, then it requires normalization, contextual correlation, and a lot of work. So it turns out that the more tools you have, your visibility is impaired. And the analogy is, if you are familiar with the story about the 6 blind men and the elephant, is that, you know, each one of these tools is touching a different domain and sees a different picture, right? Someone is touching the tail, or it's a rock. Someone is touching the belly, it's a wall, etc., etc. So what is missing is the big picture. Where is the elephant? And if we look basically at the war room scenario, so the IT organization needs to find the source of service degradation or service outage. They get together into this war room, and you know, it's the meantime to innocence. Everyone wants to be innocent. The database is working, the network is working, my server is okay, my application is fine. So where is the problem? And it turns out that 90% of the time is just spent to see exactly where the problem is, and usually it has to do with some interdependencies across the service delivery components that I mentioned before. So now that we reviewed the impact, the significant impact of poor strategy for service assurance using multiple tools, usually purchased ad hoc to solve point problems, and we realized what are the key attributes associated with service assurance, let's look at Netscout solutions for service assurance. So we are basically changing the paradigm on service assurance with nGenius One, which is our service assurance platform, and ASI, which is our adaptive service intelligence technology that basically goes and monitors the information related to service quality in different vantage points across the network itself, looking at traffic flow, and is able to analyze in real time with deep packet inspection exactly what is happening and produce one coherent data set of information that tells you what is your service assurance posture. And talking back again about inversing the standard deviation, there is no deviation. ASI is pure and accurate. And we are looking at top-down instead of looking at bottom-up and looking at different domains and trying to analyze where's the problem. As few as 3 clicks of a mouse, you can see from the service dashboard there is a problem. You can analyze it more in detail across network, across application, across databases, across all physical and virtual components of the service delivery infrastructure. You can then get a higher granularity with session analysis on a hub-by-hub basis, tracing a specific session, and only if you need to, in some cases, either for deep dive or for security purposes, forensic analysis and such, you would go into the deep dive packet analysis. And in most cases, it will not be necessary. So as you can see, now we have the full picture. We see the entire elephant. And by the way, what you see here is a diagram that was generated automatically by the nGenius One service assurance platform based on information provided by the ASI technology. And this service dependency gives you the visibility into all the different service delivery components, interdependencies between them, and defines the KPIs for those interdependencies. So in short, what we do is we take the 90% of the mean time to knowledge and reduce it by 75%, which can save enterprises millions of dollars. What is our architecture? How we do that? So it starts with the scalable monitoring fabric. So we monitor packet flow data and traffic flow data, analyze it in real time. The packet flow access helps us to aggregate, filter, and distribute all this traffic to the right monitoring devices. And by the way, it's not just Netscout devices. It can also be security appliances such as IDS, IPS, and others. Next, we use the adaptive session intelligence technology, service intelligence technology, to analyze in real time, do deep packet inspection, and see what are the KPIs for all the service delivery components, and identify any deviation proactively before users start feeling the degradation of their services. And last but not least is the nGenius One Service Assurance Platform, which basically visualizes all the information that is collected by ASI and gives you the top-down contextual workflows that help you with as few as 3 clicks of a mouse to identify the root cause and save millions of dollars in the process. So in summary, what we do is we transform the service assurance and eliminate the standard deviation in the process from component management, which is looking at elements, looking at IT-centric success metrics. How is this platform working? How is this server working? And each IT team looks only at their specific silo, to a service assurance paradigm, which is aligned with the guardians of the connected world, which means basically we look at the real quality of user experience, we understand the business-oriented success metrics, and not just the operational excellence, but also how enable enterprises to be differentiated in the marketplace, be effective, compete against their competitors in an effective way, and differentiate themselves. And last but not least, we foster collaboration across IT teams because we provide common operational view and common situational awareness that enables them to work in concert and identify the root cause very, very efficiently. So, as was mentioned before, we are very, very pleased to present both at Information Week and Interop next week. Actually, Information Week starts early next week, and you see the booth number, you see my contact information. So feel free to shoot me an email if you have any additional questions.
Yeah, one comment I have is that one of the things people forget is last year, 2014, the average breach took 170 days, and these are enterprise customers, took an average of 170 days to find that they were breached, to even recognize there was a breach. And a breach is the same thing as a diagnostic problem. It is all about being able to collaborate all these different perspectives, and this is a major issue. Root failure problems have always been avoided, and we put Band-Aids on everything. And now with this technology growing, and that's one thing I love about Netscout, people say they've been around a long time, but they haven't sat still. They've kept developing a broader resolution-based analysis system. And I tell you what, if I was fighting a problem in the security world, I'd want that visibility.
Absolutely,
Because
absolutely.
the average breach last year cost one breach, and there was an average of 3.5 breaches per large enterprise last year, but one breach cost on an average, breach cost well over $5 million. So not many people can write off $5 million 3 or 4 times a year.
Right.
Um, and then about 90% of the breaches left advanced persistent threats still in the network, which took months to find and more. I mean, 170 work days is almost a whole year.
Right, absolutely. And I think that the concept of service assurance, exactly as you mentioned, encompasses both the security aspect of it, encompasses the root cause analysis, the proactive triage. It encompasses many things, but at the end of the day, it's all about protecting and guarding the connected world and looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah. Hey, Michael, you need to end your screen sharing, but while you're doing that, I want to quickly ask Drew a question and let him explain the difference between, or the relationship between Information Week conference and Interop for some of our viewers who might not understand that.
Yeah, so UBM, which is the parent company, owns both Interop and Information Week. And Information Week has had an annual conference for many years, and now they're co-locating it at Interop. And the reason we decided to do this is because Information Week, their purview is sort of the CIO level, looking at the strategic application of technology. So the idea is that you can come to one place, your CIO can go upstairs to the Information Week conference. The rest of your team can get down on the show floor or take some educational classes at Interop, and you can essentially bring everybody together and have a great experience, and everyone comes away with some domain-specific knowledge.
And if they want to get more information on Information Week conference, they also can just go to interop.com, right?
That's right, or informationweek.com, yes.
Okay, perfect. And so, Michael, thank you very much. That was a great presentation. Michael and I talked a little bit last night, and I asked him, well, what is it that you want to accomplish tomorrow? And he says, well, 3 things. And basically that you have pain, we know where the pain comes from, and we know how to fix it. So I jokingly told him, I said, well, that's actually how I teach Buddhism. So he did that. I did that brilliantly. Now, Michael, for our viewers who are actually going to be at Interop and it's going to come to your booth, which is booth 1339, by the way, just so and what would they see? What would they get to see that they don't get to see today?
So what they will see is they will see an interactive, engaging act that will tell them and share with them more experiences about what actually the connected world is all about. It's going to be similar to Meat Blasters kind of format, and it's going to be very entertaining and very engaging. They will also get the opportunity to get in-depth demonstration of our platform. They can speak to our experts and discuss any kind of service assurance issues or specific product and solutions issues. So they will definitely get all the information they need from Netscout regarding the new brand, the guardians of the connected world. They will be entertained with the live act performance, and will get an insight into detailed information on our nGenius One service assurance platform and SI technology.
Okay. And actually, also, they'll get to talk to the people that helped put this system together from the get-go. Michael and I were talking earlier, and Michael Segal, who's the president, and I have a long relationship. And Michael made the comment that the average employee at Network General, or I mean at Netscout, which is Network General too, is about 10 years. I know people that have been there for 25 years or 20 years at least, and you'll get to meet some of the real experts. And Drew, that's one of the things that I always look forward to as a geek was, that's one thing that Interop brings out is all of our geeks get out and we get to huddle together and talk about the technology, talk about the challenges, and share stories, which are awesome because it helps us. Like on Love My Tool, we try to get people to talk about solutions. And if you've got this, try this tool. And that's really what Interop to me has always been, is a way to get together with my fellow geeks, and you'll certainly find some of them at Interop, and at Netscout and other vendors, and get a chance to really geek out. How about that? It's a geek out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. We'll try to close the show in the next 2 minutes to keep it less, keep it on within a 30-minute budget. So I wanna thank Michael again. I want to invite Michael back to maybe drill down on some of the technology. So in case you don't get all the answers, all your questions answered today, I hope that there will be more opportunity in the future. Now, Drew and I and Tim are working on more episodes, more related to Interop in the next week or so. And so, for example, on Friday, we'll actually have a chance to see inside the Network Operations Center, the NOC. So as we talk about the convention starting on Tuesday, and the classes actually starting on Sunday, but actually the network engineers are already on their way and getting the network up and running. So it will be a good opportunity for those of you who, even if you go to Interop, you don't always get to see the inside of the NOC. So this would be a good opportunity. So we do that on Friday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. And then we actually have 2 more sessions scheduled next week and more on its way, where we would do it live from the show floor. So we'll actually go and visit a vendor, which might not be a sponsor. It could be a sponsor for Love My Tool, or might not be, and really give them a chance to talk about the product right on the show floor. And we try to do that either ahead of before the show floor opens. So hopefully, Michael, we may want to talk offline and see if Netscout wants to participate in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good opportunity. And so with that, I'm gonna close the show. Tim, you said something very very interesting already, but maybe just I will give you the last word, and then we'll close the show.
Well, first off, Interop is cool. If you can go and you can walk, and Drew said that they're going to try to get cards for us old folks next year. But if you can go. You're going to meet some great people. I'm a longtime supporter of Netscout. I've known Anil and Narinda for years. I know they're an ethical group of people, that they try to build a good solution. And this year, the year of the breach or hack, you want to get as much knowledge as possible. And the best library for that is be at Interop and learn about how you can resolve problems, hopefully before they steal the gold. I think that's what I like, Michael. You talked about the gold of the company. That's what we've got to protect. If they can steal your password, that's fine, but that you can mitigate pretty quickly. But when they steal everything that's the essential part of a company, that hurts, and that's what we've got to do. And I think companies like Netscout are building better, more defined tools and more better Well, I'm educated. More and better technologies to help us find and resolve root analysis and root problems.
Yeah, and the reason why we're excited to be working with Interop is not just that they are a sponsor to Love My Tool, but we really believe in building a community, and that's what Drew and Tim and I have in common, is that we're here to build a community, and Interop is a community, and really the single one purpose of a community is to let you know that you're not alone, right? So you come to Interop, you learn, you find solutions, but ultimately you walk away with the feeling that, geez, I'm not alone in this world. There are other people who have the same problem. That's really what we're trying to achieve. So with that, I'm going to close the show. I'll see you on Friday. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.